This conference will now be recorded.
We go.
Okay.
Good.
Good afternoon, everybody. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and the governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Town of Harwich Recreation and Youth Commission is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. Sorry. Okay, with that said, I believe we have 4 members present, Eric, which constitute a quorum.
We do.
Okay. I'd like to first of all welcome John Larrabee. I mean, I know you got on quite a while ago, and it's been a crazy few months, huh, John?
John, your microphone's on mute. There you go.
Thanks. All right.
Okay.
Well,
Welcome,
thank
John.
You. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. That being said, we're going to go right to the presentation by Michael Locke and Tom Evans from the Harwich Conservation Trust. Michael, you have the floor. Go ahead, Michael.
I did. I had the mute button. Thank you, each of you, for making time on your busy agenda. I serve as director of the nonprofit Harwich Conservation Trust. We also have with us here Tom Evans, who is the president of the board of trustees of HCT. And we also are expecting Nick Nelson to join us. And by way of introduction, just background about Harwich Conservation Trust. It's the town's local nonprofit land trust founded in 1988 by volunteers, by citizens from all walks of life coming together with a common purpose of trying to preserve the natural areas of Harwich, natural lands, to protect water quality and habitats and scenic views and walking trails. So there's some common ground there with that walking trail aspect, the scenic view aspect, with the Rec Commission, getting people outside, enjoying nature. We're seeing more of that, I think, than ever before with this pandemic, and people looking at ways to just find solace in the outdoors in the midst of their isolation. And we think we have another exciting opportunity for the residents of Harwich and the visitors to Harwich with this Harwich Natural Heritage Trail proposal. Have you all had a chance to look at the proposal? If not, or even if so, I'll summarize. And Nick has joined us. He'll be joining us in a moment. Nick, he grew up in Harwich. He actually benefited from the work of your commission and your predecessors. He was playing soccer and baseball and basketball and all that good stuff. So thanks, Nick, for coming. Yeah, Nick is a fluvial geomorphologist and the regional director at Interfluve, a hydrogeology engineering firm. That's the company that is really leading the design effort with our Coldbrook Ecological Restoration Project. It's the location of which is at the what was formerly known as the Bank Street Bogs. We access it through the town's former Harbor Master Workshop parking area. That's how folks access the trails. And just to give you background on this Ecological Restoration Project, which is then a transition to the proposal you have before you, the Ecological Restoration Project is an effort with 3 major goals: to enhance the habitats, to enhance the water quality, since the Coldbrook and the groundwater that flows through that retired cranberry bog complex makes its way all the way down into Saquatucket Harbor on the Sound. And that's the Saquatucket Harbor has been deemed by the state as a harbor of impaired health. So the town, as you know, through its wastewater management plan, is tasked with cleaning up these unhealthy saltwater areas. And in 2017, town meeting voters authorized $2 million towards this partnership project with the Harwich Conservation Trust, this Ecological Restoration Project. to help reduce the nitrogen that's flowing through that watershed into Nantucket Sound, principally into Sacotucket Harbor on the Sound. By virtue of the Ecological Restoration Project, the idea is it will naturally reduce the nitrogen, therefore naturally reduce the cost of the sewering needs, the taxpayers. In the town's comprehensive wastewater management plan, there's an estimate that could be a savings up to $6 million. So it's a lot less pipe in the ground, lower cost to taxpayers, less traffic closures, and so on and so forth. In addition to those two goals I mentioned of enhancing habitat diversity and water quality, the third goal is to enhance the visitor experience, because that site, that 60+ acre site, is really in the heart of Harwich Port. And it's frequently used by the public. We see an opportunity there to create part of this Harwich Natural Heritage Trail vision by putting in American with Disabilities Act compliant trail around one of the wetland areas. In the proposal, you will see in a map which outlines the trail network that is on site already. But we would need to reduce the grade in some areas, perhaps bring it up a bit in other places in order to comply with ADA standards, and then soften the slope from what is now the the former Harbor Master Workshop property under the jurisdiction of the Selectmen at the moment, with a potential observation deck, which would also be wheelchair accessible. Soften that slope from that former Harbor Master Workshop property down to the trail system to create an all-access available loop that I think would really be a draw from a recreational standpoint, and not only to folks with all physical abilities, but also all ages. So we think it's some synergy there with the Recreation and Youth Commission, and great timing in terms of becoming a part of this grander ecological restoration and recreational enhancement vision. The other component is to complete the loop along the southerly edge of the 60+ acre preserve by creating a boardwalk connection. And that will really enable folks to complete a longer walking trail experience. So there's two components of the Harwich Natural Heritage Trail. To sum up, it's both the ADA compliant wheelchair accessible loop and also this boardwalk connector. Based on our research of seeing how these projects have actually been implemented, most recently at the Coonamessett River Restoration Project in Falmouth, another exciting enhancement of visitor access as part of that larger eco-restoration picture. We estimate the total cost of these two components to be about $300,000, and that is design, permitting, and construction. So out of respect for your work in town and your sovereignty over the recreation funds aspect of the Community Preservation Act, we wanted to present you with this vision and really seek your support in our effort in submitting an application to the Community Preservation Committee for their consideration. And that's it in summary. And so we welcome any questions, and I'll leave it there at the moment.
Great, thank you, Michael. And to Tom and Nick as well, I think what would, just so you know the process, we are unfortunately short 3 members tonight. We still have enough for a quorum, and we would have enough to vote. But I think what we're going to do, and our plan all along was, we have another meeting on the 27th. I think what we will do is ask the questions tonight, do a little more reading of what you've provided, and then make a decision on the 27th, just so you know exactly where we're coming from. So at that point, I'm going to open it up to questions. John Larrabee? John?
Sorry, I couldn't find the unmute button.
No problem.
I don't have any questions right now. I'd like to review the whole proposal first.
Okay. Michael?
Yeah, just a quick question. I think you were stating this will be a two-phase project with the total being 300. What do you see for phase one with design and what you would need to get done first? How much would that first article be?
And I thanks, Mike, for that question, and I'll clarify. What I meant to say was there's two components of this overall project. In a perfect world, we'd envision completing both simultaneously because we think there's some economies of scale to having the design done for both, right? The ADA trail and the boardwalk portion, as well as permitting, moving both through the permitting process at the same time. And then the third aspect, right after design and permitting, would be construction. And so if we have equipment and personnel mobilized on site for the larger eco-restoration project in partnership with the town, then there would be some efficiencies gained and therefore cost savings by completing both components, the ADA trail and the boardwalk connector portion. Now, that's not to say that we couldn't compartmentalize these into two phases, roughly 150,000 per phase. The first step, regardless of construction on either, would be to move through the design process. And at the moment, I'm just going to look at my notes. At the moment, we have budgeted 30,000 for the ADA trail design and the site survey, and also to include handicapped accessible parking, which would need to be a part of the thinking. Permitting costs, we have budgeted 20,000. That would include an engineered site plan that would have wetland delineation. We would file a notice of intent with the Town Conservation Commission and the State's Department of Environmental Protection. And then 100,000 we have budgeted for the wheelchair accessible trail loop and observation deck, materials and construction. And then based on what we've learned from Falmouth's construction of its boardwalk connector, we estimate the other 150,000 devoted to the boardwalk portion. So that's more detail.
Okay, thank you. Michael, anything else?
No, so this would just be one project, one CPA article for 300,000 for everything from permitting to construction?
Correct, design, permitting, construction.
Okay. Great, I'm good. Thanks, John.
Hey, Frank?
It looks like a good project, and I'm just wondering if there's going to be any public fundraising to try to get some money.
So in addition to the 300,000, go ahead.
Well, in place of the 300.
At the
Go ahead,
moment,
Michael.
pardon me, John?
I know
Go
you
ahead,
do fundraising and get donations. Now, is there going to be any effort to raise money for this project through public donations or private donations, I should say?
Yes, thank you. At the moment, our focus on raising funds for this project is through the Community Preservation Act recreation portion of funding to try and fully fund the two components through this $300,000 proposal to the Community Preservation Committee, and hopefully if they endorse it, the town meeting voters after that. So that's our approach at the moment. We're also trying to pull together funding for the eco-restoration implementation, the construction of the eco-restoration itself, in partnership with the town meeting authorization from 2017. And so that's an ongoing process. Relative to the eco-restoration piece, we're in the final 50% design phase. So this seemed like a good time to try and advance this vision of enhancing the public access.
Okay, thank you.
Frank, anything else?
Oh, that's it, John.
Okay. Eric, any comments?
No, I'm good on my end.
Okay. I think that wraps it up, gentlemen, for this evening. Appreciate it. Like I said, have a chance to look over this paperwork, and if there are any questions, we'll reach out. You're more than welcome to join us on the 27th if you wish. That's totally up to you. And like I said, if there are questions, we'll try to get those to you beforehand.
John, may I?
Yes.
May I, just as an invitation, you'll see in this proposal at the end, an invitation to visit the Coonamessett River Restoration Project in Falmouth to actually see what this boardwalk connector looks like. And also, I believe, Nick, they also have an ADA trail there. Is that right?
Yes, they have two boardwalks, one on either side of the bog, and then the ADA accessible trail around it. I don't believe it was billed and advertised as ADA accessible, but it was built to those standards.
So if any of your committee would like to visit this site in advance of the 27th, please let us know. We'd be glad to organize a site visit so you could see what this looks like in real life.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you all very much for your time.
Thank you for attending.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thanks all. Take care.
Okay. Eric, there's nobody on for public comments.
Nope, nothing.
All right. We're going to move on to approval of minutes.
Hey, John.
9/8.
John, those minutes can't be voted at this meeting because there's only 3 people from last meeting here.
Okay. So we'll postpone that to 27.
Yep.
Okay. Director's report.
Yep.
Everybody has a copy of the director's report. Eric, do you have anything to add?
The only update I have on here, fall programming is going well. We have an after-school childcare program that's running out of the cultural center. And we're also doing a field hockey clinic. Both have been approved by the health department and the health director. So those are going well. It's kind of, we're doing anything we can right now, what they're allowing us to do. The other update I have is for the Brooks tennis basketball courts. The acrylic sealer is on order. So that should be here soon. And Chris Nickerson and Brian Albee said they'd be able to start applying it when we got it, as soon as we got it. So, and I think that's all I had for updates, and I'd be happy to answer any questions on it.
Any questions for Eric on the director's report, John? John Larrabee?
Nothing from me.
Michael?
I'm good, thank you.
Frank?
No, just a reminder, Eric, that there is a big crack on the basketball court, the main basketball court, when they're at it.
Yeah, we factored that in when we ordered it. We have 5 full gallons coming.
Okay, thank you, Eric.
Property maintenance report. Eric, any updates?
Nothing from what's on there. Everything in red is new. And the graffiti, the graffiti has been removed from those dugouts at Potter Field. There's still some graffiti. It says "Go, good luck, girls" or something like that. But the stuff that was questionable was removed.
Okay. Eric, what's the status of the lifeguard stands?
Lifeguard stands. They've completed one for Earl Road. They have all the materials for the others, so we're just waiting on them
Okay.
for them to do little by little.
Good winter project.
That's right.
Okay. Budget reports. Eric, any updates?
No, nothing now. We're still working on getting accurate printouts. I'm going to send those out to you guys as soon as we get them, though.
Okay. Chairman's report. Few things. I talked to Brian Albee today. As Eric just mentioned, once the sealer comes in, they will be taking care of that. The tennis courts, probably maybe the basketball court will have to be closed down for a couple days. I told him to do it at they have to do it based on weather, both warm and dry. So I said, you guys do it when it's convenient. Let us know, and Eric will get the signs up there that it's closed. So that takes care of that. He also said they were planning to, at some point in the near future, shut down tennis and pickleball regrade the gravel parking lot to the left of the tennis courts and put the Jersey barriers back up there for the winter. The other thing is around the playground, I'm assuming it's on the backside. There's some poison ivy that's growing a little too close. So they're going to be spraying that. That will also require a shutdown of the playground for 36 to 48 hours. They will do that and let Eric know so he can put up a sign. What else was there? Crack ceiling. Any, Eric, if you could, and I'll get a chance, if I get a chance, I'll go over. There's a bench in the playground, I guess, that is broken. I don't know if it's the back or the bottom, but if you could take a look at that.
Yep.
And I thought Brian said they've been trying and they can't find replacement parts. So,
Okay. I'll check it out.
That pretty much, Eric, are you going to address CPC articles, Brooks, White House, et cetera?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. All right. So that being said, we have no liaison reports because Mr. Nixon was unable to make it this evening, and Van is not with us this evening either. So, miscellaneous correspondence, email. Eric, what do you want to address that, please?
Yep. It was brought up at last meeting. The town band was requesting their annual funding through AIDS programs for their conductor, I believe. But we had red flagged it and brought it up at last meeting because they hadn't had many concerts this year. So we did reach out to see if we can get a more detailed account of what we're paying for. And included in your packet was the email I received, and it's basically their explanation is that the conductor's taking a lump sum payment instead of a monthly payment. I did check in with the finance director, Carol Capola, and she advised us to go ahead and pay it. So that's kind of the update we got. That's the explanation I received from the town band itself.
We don't need a motion on that, do we?
No, we don't usually vote on it. It's just we brought it up just because it was a extenuating circumstances this year.
Yeah, it was a clarification. Any questions, comments on that?
No, none for me.
All right. Michael?
Nope, just thanks again, Matt. It makes a lot more sense now.
John?
Not for me, no.
Okay, thank you. All right, 2020, moving right along. 2020 CPC Project Submissions. Eric, can we get an update, please?
Yep. So I'll start out with the easy ones. The Sand Pond Revitalization Project that we discussed last meeting would be a request of $83,500. And the Senior Memorial Fencing Project, which we had discussed, would be a request of $40,181. The two new ones, I'm sorry, 40,100. What's that?
Say that number again, please.
40,181.
Thank you.
Since then, since our last meeting, I met with Griffin, the town engineer, as well as the town administrator on our open projects, including Brooks Park lighting and the new project, White House Field lighting project. We got the results of an engineering study that was done by the town engineer, that was contracted by the town engineer and the town administrator, and the funding numbers came in way over what we had originally had for those projects. Since then, they had gone back to kind of take a look at those proposals and compare with the original proposals from Musco, and they have brought those numbers way down, but we're still going to need to request more funding for those projects to get finished. I had also met with Joe Powers and Griffin since then, and they are in full support of asking for more funding for those projects, and they will be, by our side when we ask for it, considering it wasn't really our fault that led us to being way under. But the bottom line is, for Brooks Park lighting project, we would have to ask for an additional $125,000 from CPC to complete it. And for the White House Field lighting project that was just passed at this past town meeting, we'd need an additional $100,000. And a lot of the explanation for the high numbers is what the engineering company that did the report for us said is that there were things not accounted for in Musco's original estimate, in combination with other things like the price of stuff going up in the past 3 years. That kind of contributed to it, but in order to get it done, that's what we're going to need going forward.
Okay. If I did my math right, Eric, that's a total of 348,681
Yep.
for those
You
4
got it.
projects.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to open it up to questions. John?
No questions from me right now.
Okay. Michael?
Eric, Sand Pond, is that just the beaches, the little playground, or is that a combination of everything for the 83,000?
What that would include is the removal of the boathouse, the playground structures, which would include a swing set and 2 spinny things, as well as surfacing, which is very expensive. New split rail fencing to replace what's there now. A family picnic area with several picnic tables, and landscaping beautification, as well as 15% contingency on top.
And what are your thoughts on the sand and the water quality down there and stuff with that?
The sand itself, I'm still trying to get some answers on how we do that, and if we do it, how much it is. Because I do know the one answer I have gotten is we're not allowed to take sand from the beaches or dredging projects and put it on a pond beach. So we'd have to purchase sand somehow. As far as the water quality goes, people definitely think it's bad water quality, but it is tested multiple times over the summer. We didn't get one bad test all summer this year.
Right.
So it's got a bad stigma to it, but I'm hoping this type of project will kind of bring it around again in people's eyes, make it more of a family-oriented area.
No, I mean, it was crazy this past summer driving through there all the time. I mean, it was half full, if not full. So people are using it. It's spruced up. I think it's a great spot for West Harwich.
It's untapped revenue too, because if you do all those things, you can put guards back there and a gate attendant and maybe sell daily passes because the lot is big enough.
Yep. Okay, great. Thanks.
Yep.
Frank?
Yeah, I got something I'd like to add to an additional CPC article.
Hold on, Frank.
It's
Hold
not
on.
a whole lot of money. Well, it's all relative, I guess. I got a quote today from O'Reilly Landscaping, which was rather quick. And that's putting in irrigation system in the fenced off area, all the area adjacent to the parking lot going down to the bathroom, right to beyond, a little beyond the bathroom to where the asphalt is between the bathroom area and picnic pavilion. And the price on that for irrigation was $11,750. They did a soil test on the quality of the loam on the 2 areas that were, where we have the wooden fence around, and they would put in 120 yards of loam and hydroseed 12,000 yards. And that would cost pretty reasonable, $6,500. That's for loam and hydroseeding. So that came to $11,750 for loaming and hydroseeding that area. The irrigation, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, it came to $11,700 for irrigation, $6,500 for the loaming. And I don't know what a well would cost. The total from O'Leary was, add that up, 21,000. Well, I figured 10,000 for a well, that would come to 21,750. Is that right? Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
I
You have to factor in contingencies as well.
It's on my other computer. I'm reading it off a
You
piece
missed
of
the
paper that
6,500 in there.
What's that?
You missed the 6,500
For grading and loam and seeding is 6,500. Irrigation is 11,750.
And then another 10 for the well.
And then another 10 for the well.
Another 10 for the well.
50.
I think I messed up my figures here. It's on the
You're
computer.
at 28,250, Frank.
That's counting the well?
That's
Yes.
with the well being 10 grand.
Yeah, okay, that's what I figured. 10 grand. I'm not sure what a well cost. But he's got all the specs. I can print them out. A few other things, not much. I was thinking trees in that area that we might irrigate. I figured a total of 9 trees. We lost some trees as you come into Brooks Park, you know, along the baseball fence. We lost a bunch of trees there, plus 5 trees in the area that we're going to irrigate. And I think that comes to a total of 9 trees. Now, I don't know what a tree costs, but I figured $300 planted. So that's $3,600. And I don't know what those benches cost, Eric. You know, you have 2 options. I was thinking of 4 concrete pads in the area that they're going to irrigate and bolt the bench down, or put in benches just like the playground. You know, we have at the playground, the posts go right into the ground, and I assume they go into concrete below the dirt there. And Eric, if you would look up and see if you can find out what we would have to pay for benches.
Yep.
Okay, so that's one thing. And I'll type that all up and give it to you at some point in the future. Anyways, I have the quotes.
If you can get that to me, I could start putting together. If the commission wants it, a proposal for the meeting on the 27th with some final numbers on it.
That's what I was thinking, Eric. Yeah, and if it goes in, it goes in. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But you know, you won't know unless you try.
Yep.
Point of clarification, Frank, that was O'Leary irrigation, not O'Reilly, correct?
It's O'Leary, you're right.
I was going to say I never heard of that irrigation.
By the way, that was very quick. I saw the guy yesterday about noontime. And they sent it on my computer just about a couple hours ago.
All right. Anything else, Frank?
Are we on just general talk or?
No, we're still under CPC.
Okay, CPC. I think that's it.
Okay. Michael, do you have anything you'd like to add for this year's CPC request?
No, I mean, I think what we got on our plate is great, and you know, depending on the Harwich Conservation Trust, that would also come under us, correct, if we support it?
It was out of the undesignated balance, correct?
If we don't support it, does it still come under rec as a submitted
It does.
project? Okay.
It does. Yep. It does, yep. John, do you have anything that you'd like to see added to the CPC list for this year?
No, I'm just taking it all in and trying to figure this all out. So
I know, I just don't want to leave you out.
no, thank you.
It's like a Christmas list right now, so whatever
All
you
right.
want. We call him CPC Santa.
All right, so Eric, you're going to take care of getting more numbers on that
Irrigation.
in loam and well.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll give you the printout. I'll send it to you, Eric.
Okay, sure. I'll be here all
We
day
just
tomorrow
we
too
need
if you want to stop
We
by.
need some. We got to make a decision. What kind of benches? Do they go on a concrete pad, or we put them in the ground just like the playground? Which may not be a bad idea. It's probably cheaper that way too.
Yeah.
And we could
And Eric,
also. My idea is also we could put something out where people want to put their name on the bench and pay for the bench.
Sure.
And let's keep in mind, we can do the benches without doing irrigation in a well.
That's right.
You know, I mean, because there's
Sure.
always people looking to do a memorial bench. Maybe that's our new spot.
That's right. You could eliminate entirely. Just try to see if people. You can always put the benches in if you could always put the benches in afterwards. That's for sure.
I bet you a lot of the pickleballers are want benches over there with their name on it.
Yeah. Well, we raised
Maybe-
a lot for the pantry. I tell you that, close to 10
They're going to
grand.
want their ashes spread there too, the way they are.
You know, I'll get into that a little later. Yeah.
All right.
Well, later is now, Frank.
Well,
That is the end of the agenda, open session. Frank,
Open session. You want me to go, John?
you are the man.
Well, I've been getting a lot of, Eric, on the pickleball course, if people would like a couple of courts left open for the winter. They noticed that the tennis nets were all up last winter. And most towns, by the way, they leave all their tennis nets up for the winter. They don't bother taking them down. We've taken them down in the past, but last year they did not take them down. And because inside play is very, very limited. Some people would still like to play outside if it's a decent day. To give you an idea of the impact of the virus on just the pickleball players, we had 77 Harwich residents sign up for the fall last year. We have 52 this year, and that's gaining about a half a dozen people. So there's people still very timid, and I think I'm in that camp too about playing inside. So, you know, they figured, and we could work something out where we lock it up and have someone has a key in the shed, they could open it when they want to play, something like that. It's just a thought, Eric. I know a lot of people are bugging me they want to play in the winter. I'm not one of them, but.
Well, as far as the nets go, I am in favor of leaving those up through the winter. We took them down in March under directive of the town administrator.
Yeah.
I did explain to him, the reason I don't mind leaving them up is because every time they take them down, they have to cut the strap a little bit. And they don't get as much of a lifespan as they usually would. So we're buying them more often than we would normally have to, because we take them down every year. So also, if we kept it, you know, as long as most of the gates were locked,
yeah, we can put that.
I would have no problem leaving them up. I don't think snow is going to damage them. And that's the opinion of Highway too, through Jared, who I talked to.
Oh, good. And also, Eric, the high school tennis team is out there in March.
Yeah, they go out early.
March, but sometime in March, those kids are out there, you know, practicing their tennis for the season, I guess.
Yep.
Okay. I'll talk to you further on it, Eric, if you're of a positive opinion, and we can work something out, that's for sure.
Sure.
The only thing I'm concerned with on that is we want to make sure that does not become a skate park.
That's right, and if it does, we'll close them up.
That was a concern in the past, Eric, right? That was
Yeah,
one of the
absolutely.
reasons blocked.
People going in with rollerblades and skateboards and things like that.
Street hockey, whatever the case may be, great flat. It'll be a little more difficult with no nets, but we just want to make sure that the courts don't get damaged.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah, we would close those far courts near I plan to take those nets down anyways. The ones closest to the tennis courts, there's 4 nets there. And I plan to take them down because in March,
the portables.
The kids are going to be out there playing tennis in that area.
We need to hire a bouncer for those courts.
Yeah.
Doorman.
Frank, anything else under open session?
No, I don't think so. And I'm kind of surprised, well, not really, that they've only made one lifeguard stand. Maybe that's the prototype. If they think they like it, they'll use that as a pattern and make all the rest. But one, I can't quite wrap my arms around that.
Beggars can't be choosers.
I guess not. Well, we're paying them $37,000, John. I mean,
that was materials only.
I know it. That's a lot of, yeah.
Michael, anything under open session?
Do water bubblers freeze at the pickleball courts? I'm good.
Well, you know something on the water bubblers? I was going to put something in on that, but we're going to be
Pandora's box, Mike.
Yeah.
We're going to be digging up the whole perimeter of those courts to put in the lighting. So I mean, we can't put in some poly pipe now for a water bubbler because we're only going to be digging the stuff up again, the ground up. So as soon as the lights are in, then we can put in, they put the
maybe a moot point these days.
Yeah.
With the COVID
I'm good,
stuff.
John. Thank you.
We're not going to have bottles anymore, so.
Oh, I just said bubblers may be taboo these days, though, with COVID going forward.
Oh yeah, right now they definitely would be, Eric. No question about it.
Yeah.
We can postpone that another year. What the hell's another year, right?
John, do you have any comments under open session for your first meeting?
I do not. Thank you.
You coming back?
Eric,
I'll be back.
Speaking of water bubblers, and what is the rec department's plan with the new bottle ban?
The plan for what part?
It was a concern in the past. I know about lifeguards. You were always bringing those guys water at the beaches in the hot days in the summer. How do you handle that now with no more plastic bottles?
They
Well, I'm
exempt
trying
us.
I'm trying to figure out, what does the rule exactly say? That people can't have them at all, or they can't sell them around here, or?
I wasn't there, I'll defer.
They
Yeah,
can't
I
sell
thought-
them.
I was
Yeah.
under the impression you just couldn't sell plastic bottles.
That's
Okay.
right.
And I'm
You
pretty
can
sure
find-
our town departments, necessary emergency town departments exempt.
That was the stance we took a year ago. Now, did this change from a
No.
year ago to this one?
I don't
It
think
just-
so.
It just banned the sale of one single-use bottles in the town of Harwich.
I'll
Okay.
buy them in Yarmouth and bring them down.
You can do that.
We'll just leave that
Bootleg.
alone. Moving on. Our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, the 27th. Same, 5:30, of course. And at that point, we will be moving forward with our final decisions on CPC projects. So if everybody could make it for that one, that would be great. I would like to have a full board if we can, because those are pretty important decisions. So
And I'll
that,
send
unless
out-
somebody else has something to say, is all I have.
I was just going to say, I'll send out draft CPC applications to all of you to look at
Okay.
before that meeting.
Good.
Okay. Good.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
John, I was waiting for you to second that, your first second.
I'm
All right,
I'll
I'm
motion-
slow with
retract
the
my
mute.
second if you
We get
want.
thirded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? They can stay. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a nice night.
All right,
Thank you.
John.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Take care.
Yeah, good seeing you guys. Yeah.